All right, so the aliens haven't been driving me as insane. I think probably because I don't have as much heavy subject matter material for them to drive me insane with. Because as you can understand, what I'm doing right now is basically working on a very intricate machine, and any single aspect of it is actually vitally important. It's interdependent on other aspects. So you can't really point to one part of it and say that's the most important part. There's so many different parts that are important. You can say some things are more important than others, but what I'm saying is just that, you know, they wait until something occurs to me as, oh shit, this is important, or my mind starts engaging with something that's, complicated. Earlier today, it was something to do with the way that they get paid, the senators. And when I realized that it was a bad idea to keep their pay, I realized that I should probably lengthen their terms and decrease the amount of money that they're making. For several reasons. For one, because they need to be able to have, the reason I pay them as much as I can, I do, is so I could shorten their terms, but their pay has to go up with population, so it just keeps it difficult to switch them out even as their terms get shorter. And actually, it shouldn't do that because it needs to be equally as difficult to replace them. So just as that occurred to me, which, as you can imagine, that's kind of a complicated thought in and of itself. So before my mind had even really grasped it, my mind's still struggling with this new concept that makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? And at the stage where the mind is just kind of struggling to understand this new thing, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying it's too complicated to understand it. I'm just saying, when you grasp a new concept, when you have a new idea that is multifaceted, there's complexity to it, you know what I mean? In the very initial moments of trying to understand it, you know what I mean? Which can be so important because your brain is essentially ramping up gamma waves. It's giving you extra abilities to troubleshoot and problem solve, It's always in those moments that they'll just start to hassle me and agitate me. And it's like, holy shit, man. Like you're trying to drive me insane. You know what I mean? I don't understand why you're trying to drive me insane. But I've come to understand it. I think that what it is, personally, because you can't say, there's sex trafficking involved, and with a lot of things that they did to torture me, it was, look, this is sex trafficking, we're torturing Tanner because it bothers that person. And I think they're probably going to get a lot of long-term galvanization out of that. And the way that they went about it was multifaceted, and I think that it's interesting what they did there, and I think that they probably will get a lot out of that. But the thing about it is, it's just when it gets to a certain point, and it's like, okay, I can't even understand why the hell you're still doing this to me. You know what I mean? Because it's okay. It's all like, you hear me explaining it, it sounds all casual and nice. When this is going on, it is not nice. Okay? It is not casual. Okay? Generally speaking, I get so upset that my health starts to shut down. You know what I mean? I get extremely sullen. I get extremely, bewildered. You know what I mean? That's the design of it, to make it so that I would never understand why they would do it at that point. Like, I'm here to actually I'm here to actually make you go insane. Like, do you understand that? Like, I'm here to fucking make you go insane. You know what I mean? Like, just coming to that term all the time, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you wouldn't just like hire me to do this and then sit there and fuck with me the whole time, would you? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. And actually, yes, that's the point, you know? But what I'm saying is just that, you know, going through all of this is just, I don't even remember what my point was, but it's just ridiculous. You know, it's just absolutely ridiculous, you know, to sit here and it's just, it really is troubling to be in a situation like that where it's like, okay, so, you know what I mean? Like, we're trying to work on something. We're trying to get something done. You know what I mean? And you're fucking with me every time we get to a point where it's like, you would never do that because you need my help with this. You know what I mean? Like, that's just to blow my mind, you know, to where I'm like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, do you even have a priority in any of this? You know? But I mean, clearly the reason that they got me was to do this, you know. But anyways, yeah, it's been a real nightmare. But you know, it's just, this last one was so annoying. Everything that had to do with the mayors, you know, with everything that had to do with mayors and the way they get paid, and just that one in and of itself was so really complicated because I'm doing things in that one that, it's just, you would never expect. You know what I mean? Like, some of the solutions that I found in that one were so different, you know? And I just never had a whole lot of peace of mind throughout the whole time working on that entire provision. They really fucked with me the whole fucking time. I mean, every single step of the fucking way, every single fucking thing, everything. You know, anything that had anything to do with just being like, just any complicated aspect of it. You know what I mean? Any complex thing, anything at all. Anything that was just like, oh, holy shit, I'm going to have to think about this. But anything that had any kind of complexity to it at all, they just fucked with me the entire time. And I mean, really, really fucked with me. Just viciously. Just the whole fucking time. You know? I mean, there wasn't anything. I couldn't think of anything. You know what I mean? It took me days just to do that one simple ass provision. And I've got all kind of other stuff that I want to finish. And it just took me so long. It probably took me a week or more just to get through that one simple ass provision, because they had to fuck with me on every single thing. And then once they started fucking with me, I didn't even trust my own brain. And I was just basically sitting there like, well, I'm just going to take the rest of the day off and maybe get back to it tomorrow when my mind can even function on this subject, because they've just, you know, savaged my mind so viciously on that subject. And I don't understand it. Like, if it was complicated and I couldn't think about it, or, you know, then they would assault my mind. I think they just really, they seem to really, and then sometimes they'll make me think that they made me forget something. In some cases, I actually think that they do make me forget important things. And it just seems like they have an agenda right now to basically be like, you know, I don't understand it, you know? I guess, and here's what I'm starting to suspect what it is I don't think that it has anything to do with, you know, galvanization. Like, there's no sex trafficking stuff there. There's no, you know what I mean? It's not like they're saying sex trafficking and victims and all this kind of stuff. They're just assaulting me because I'm thinking of something complicated. And so I think personally it's about women. I think it's having to do with the women that are in. I do. I'm almost 100% sure of it. And that would make sense because a lot of what they're doing has to do with Alex Jones, like me being mad at Alex Jones. So much so that it's actually unbelievable. You know, like the amount of time that they have me sitting here screaming at Alex Jones is, those two things maybe fit together. You know what I mean? Because I do believe 100%. Because this is the only people that would really want that is women. You know what I mean? Like if a woman sees that you're succeeding at something, she would want you to be assaulted every time something important crossed your mind. You know what I mean? Like that's their nature, that's a woman's nature, is to do that. Bar none, period, that's it. Now there are some women that aren't like that. You know, like 1 in 100, maybe. That's what I'm saying, 1 in 100. You know? And that's why I just say all women are like that, because if anybody hears that, they're most likely going to say, oh yeah, this one who works for me, she's good. She would never do that. No, most likely she would do that. Most likely if she saw a man succeeding and who was exceptionally smart and ambitious and driven and just things came to him real easily, he just achieved things naturally, she will try to do something to place herself in a position of dominance over him. And it doesn't really matter. It'll probably be something like, hey, pick this up, or always be sure you check with me before you walk out of here, or it'll be something like that. But if they don't have the ability to do something like that, then it'll be something like, like just something to agitate you, or something to be like, or preferably in their mind, something to stop you from achieving success. Literally just stop you straight up from achieving anything. But that's like Pam Bondi trying to stop RFK. You know what I mean? That's just the way women are. You know what I mean? From getting fluoride out of the water. You know what I mean? Like, that's a huge successful thing. She's going to try to stop it. You know what I mean? That's how women think. That's what they do. So what I'm saying is that I honestly believe the only thing that makes any sense to me at all is that perhaps people are starting to see how this system works, and they see how well designed it is, and it's like, oh shit, that's just pure genius. Like, if we could get that implemented, then we'd be set. Like, it's just a single document that secures everything and fixes everything, and you don't have to worry about the big issues ever again. I'm not saying this is what's happening, but if that is what's happening in the government and within the men, you know what I mean? The women are it's just jealousy, I don't know. I guess that's jealousy, something that women experience in life where they see men as being more capable than they are, achieving things that they wish to achieve, but they're incapable of it, or whatever it is. And then as a result, then they can become extremely vicious, about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? That's why you never really want a woman to be in a position of authority over men, period. So, but anyways, yeah, so I believe that, I do believe that that's the only thing that makes any sense as far as why it is that I'm experiencing that. And then that would make a lot of sense as to why I'm always being made angry about Alex Jones. I felt like it maybe had something to do with them trying to glorify themselves or something like that. Maybe it's another thing that has to do with women. Like they're picking up on what's going on probably. Their like minds are working at it like incredibly hard, to notice things like that. Oh, it's a nod to a woman. Woman's got power. Women got power. Yeah. Yeah. They're like crackheads when it comes to thinking about power and trying to have power and shit like this. It's ridiculous. It doesn't always have to be about who's the big shot. It's like, it's ridiculous. Men are like that too, but women are just like crackheads about that kind of stuff.